What's up, ladies and gents? Politics Part 2. Just a couple of bits I missed in the previous video, and I remembered the thing that I realised that I'd forgotten during the video, and that I said that I would remember afterwards. I have now remembered that, which was related to the whole strategical and tactical voting thing. A lot of people, when I've said in the past that I was voting for Green Party, would say it's a wasted vote. That's a key phrase there. And I don't see it as a wasted vote. As I said before, I mentioned about their proportional representation. I see voting for a party that doesn't support proportional representation as a wasted vote. Also, a lot of people that have kind of haven't voted for, like the Green Party, for example, when they look at the policies, tend to agree with a lot of the policies. So it tends to be that people don't vote for the Green Party because other people don't vote for the Green Party. They basically just say, "Oh well, there's not enough votes, so they'll never get in." So it's just basically a self-fulfilling prophecy. So voting for the Greens is kind of is a long-term strategy trying to break that self-fulfilling prophecy, essentially. That was my thought on that. Probably not the best explained, but hopefully it made some semblance of sense. And then the other questions which I had, or that I consider sometimes, which I wrote in the description of the previous video, are the following. What are things that people in XPie are afraid of? What are their main worries and concerns? What/who do they direct the blame for? Insert fear, concern, worry, etc. Negative thing here. Towards. So who do they blame for whatever the negative thing is? Who do they punish or intend to punish? Often to try and alleviate said fear or whatever negative thing it is. And where do the recipients of said punishment lie on the spectrum of quality of life? Does a certain party tend to punch up or down? There's a few other things that I tend to think about, and what I've noticed is a general rule of thumb, and obviously all rules of thumb are rules of thumb, including that one, is that the further to the right of the spectrum, obviously that's quite a vague statement to make, but the further to the right, the fears and the blame tend to be towards other people who are considered the out group, essentially. So they tend to be much stronger on things like immigration, and I've noticed that there's a tendency for kind of dehumanizing, stereotypical, tribalistic kind of definitive labels that are applied to said out group, such as, this is not UK related, but it is UK related, but it's an American example, the old illegal aliens. Something that dehumanizes and therefore makes it easier to do something negative towards them, because essentially kind of linguistically distancing yourself from the out group. And I've noticed that's a pretty prominent trend in the political parties that tend to lie towards the right, and you can see that historically as well, with a pretty prime example being Hitler. Obviously very divisive guy who had a very specific out group and very harsh punishment towards them. That's a kind of general rule of thumb that I've noticed, which is why I tend to vote towards the left, although I'm not saying that the left is perfect by any means. And another thing is they tend to be, in terms of punishments, not only the out group, but they also tend to kind of demonize people like who struggle in terms of like homelessness, addiction, and things like that. and essentially I consider them to be people who have some kind of health issue, normally kind of a mental or a physical one, or it could be just an environmental one, or some combination of the three. So essentially punishing the people that are struggling in terms of quality of life anyway. So yeah, these are a few questions that I also consider. And well, I was going to say tomorrow's the day of the election, but it's actually technically today. So I will be reading the manifestos next is the plan, or at least a summary of the manifestos. But yeah, this is just kind of a, as I said before, a shorthand and something that doesn't take as much time in order to kind of make some kind of informative choice. Yeah, hope that makes sense. Do let me know if it does or doesn't. Any clarifications needed? But yeah, I hope you're doing all doing well anyway. It's been a long day for me, hence why I'm struggling with English and words. But yeah, take care of yourselves, guys. I'll see you soon. Peace.